Oh, good morning. Well, that was a good night, I have to say. I slept really well. I think I was asleep by 9:30, and I've just got up. It's about 6:30, just after 6:30. Just got up. I mean, I never sleep continuously. Oh dear. When you sleep in a tent, I always call it tent sleep. It's sleep where you kind of wake up regularly through the night. But last night didn't last all. Every time I woke up, I was straight off to sleep again. So that was a good night's sleep. And it's a lovely morning, albeit the temperature is a little bit lower at the moment. So I'm gonna crack on and get a brew going and start to break camp so that I can get out walking early before the heat of the sun comes. But it promises to be a good day if my legs are up to it. Let's hope so. So breakfast this morning consists of egg and bacon. I wish. Actually it doesn't. It consists of 2 breakfast bars and a cup of cappuccino. But that's good. That's as good as egg and bacon any day. Perfect. That'll do. That's good. Very nice. So the plan today is that I'm going to climb back up onto the South Dorset Ridgeway first thing, and then drop straight down the other side, which will take me to the kind of western end of Chesil Beach, I guess, and then I'm going to just head west until I reach Charmouth, which is my stopping point tomorrow night. Now that sounds easy, but unfortunately includes Stonebarrow, Golden Cap, of course, highest point in the south coast of England, Thorncombe Beacon, amongst others. So there's quite a lot of headlands to get over there and high climbs. So I don't know how that's going to go today. And the other thing I've thought of, and I forgot to check to be honest, is there was a closure, coast path closure along there last year, I remember. I managed to get along the beach in the end, and I forgot to check that, so I'm just going to have to play that by ear when I get there. Anyway, that's the plan. I want to try and get going early, and so that I can at least crack some of it before the heat of the day. So I've now got to break camp so that we can crack on. But it should be a really good day. I'm looking forward to today because you got some amazing views all the way along, provided my legs will cope with the hills. And the first thing to do is to clear up and pack away my tent and all its contents. Right, it's around 8 AM and I'm underway again. Just got to walk through the village and climb up onto the ridge. Well, to start with. It's a fairly biggish row of cottages there, or is that one cottage being rethatched? Looks like I've got some sheepy company. Some cute little lambs. So as you can see, I've gone over the ridge. I'm just heading down the other side. You can see Chesil Beach down there. Noisy things. Mind you, they can't compete with the rooks last night. They were cawing the whole night. Actually took me back to past days when my son Paul and I used to camp at Durdledore campsite on our weekend backpacks, and it's exactly the same. The rooks used to caw all night long, and I well remember once having to actually pitch the tent in among the trees, and it was a speckled white blobby tent the next morning. Happy days. It's a glorious day again. Hello little fellas. Oh, he's sweet. I want to take him home. He could sit nicely in my garden and run around. They're quite friendly, those two, or three. Now that's a glorious early morning view. Beautiful, that is. Here we are now on Chesil Beach. I could go over there and walk along that. Sign does say that's the winter route, but it is hard work walking on loose shingle. And it just happens to be a path running beside it. So I'm going to stick to this one. At least for now. I'm trying to be strong today. As you'll know, if you follow me, I tend to detour quite a lot to explore, and I'm trying to resist that today because I've got 16 heavy miles to do, but I can't resist this. Amazing white. Ooh, nice bit of driftwood there. Put that in my rucksack. Is that sea cabbage? I think that's right, not totally sure. It stretches all the way along this beach, and in the distance, now I don't know if I can't see the screen very well, it's too bright, but Golden Cap is the high flat headland. The one before that, just to the right, is Thorncombe Beacon. So I've got to go over both of those today and drop down to sea level between the two, of course, which is hard, which is the dip in between is where I was going to camp at Seatown. But after going over Golden Cap, I've got to carry on to, in the distance there are caravans. I think that's probably Charmouth, which is where I've got to stop tonight, simply because the campsite at Seatown was closed. But that is the whole coast that I'm walking today. And what a lovely beach with these lovely white sea cabbage. Well, I think that's what they are. And that's looking back the other way. So right in the distance you can see Portland jutting out to sea. Chesil Beach goes all the way to that. So it's a long beach and it's shingle and it's hard work to walk on, and it was on my bucket list at one time to walk the length of Chesil Beach. So I was going to start, oh, lost my hat. I was going to start at one end and walk the whole length of the shingle beach right the way to the other end. I think I've decided against it. In fact, I've crossed that one off because that would be, I don't know, is it? I've forgotten what the length is. I should know, shouldn't I? I have videoed it before and I can't remember. Is it 12 miles or 18 miles? Anyway, it's a long way. It's a lot of miles to walk on shingle, and for half of it there's no way you can get off because it skirts south of the Fleet Lagoon, Brackish Lagoon, so can't get off it there unless you've got a boat or you want to swim. And for some reason I seem to have a squeaky rucksack this morning. I have to have a look at that later and find out why it's doing it, because it's going to come out on the video. An awesome path this is. Huge reed bed over there with the beach and the sea, and look at the blue of the sea. Don't know if that'll come across in the video very well, but it's a really deep blue today. It's a shame in some ways I'm walking this way round, because at the moment, obviously being early morning, it's cooler and much more pleasant walking temperature. So in an ideal world I could have done with going over the high ground with these cooler temperatures this morning. Unfortunately, hasn't worked out that way, and of course I'm going to be going over the high ground in the heat of the afternoon. But there you go. It is what it is, as they say. Annoying expression. But this is absolutely beautiful. Absolutely magnificent. A lovely bit of sea thrift. Well, got a little bit of trudging across shingle to do, but it's not too bad and not too long before I hit a more solid path in a minute. But don't have to slow you down walking on this stuff with the weight up. Well, that was Burton Bradstock. Could have got a coffee there. The cafe is open, but I'm just conscious of the miles I've got to do, so I'm going to keep going. Very pretty buttercup and stone
Oh, come on. Can't think what the other one's. Stone crop, is it? I can't remember what they're called. Nice yellow field and a lovely view. But down in the bottom down here is Burton Bradstock village. We've just been past the beach. Very nice. But we're just walking along the top. So we reached Burton Freshwater, and it's a massive caravan park. And this is the annoying place where the river, or a little stream, it's wide though, comes out. So in order to get across that, we've got to go inland half a mile to cross the bridge, and then come back out again half a mile the other side. So it's kind of a half a mile, so you're doing almost a mile of walking to get 20 feet, is that? But in the distance we can see the jetty of West Bay jutting out, and then my two headlands obviously beyond that. Kind of doesn't look that far away, does it? So this is the offending stream. Could actually almost get across it. Well, over there, I could take my shoes and socks off and paddle across that, but I'm not quite sure how you get down there, in fact. Anyway, I'm going to do the proper route. West Bay 1.5 it says. And that was going to be my lunch stop actually, West Bay, but I think I'm going to be too early, to be honest, so I might just keep going. Okay, so I exaggerated a bit there. It's actually 1/4 mile inland to find the bridge, 1/4 mile back out again, so it's half a mile I've done in order to get the other side of this. Right, we've got to go across the beach and climb up the headland the other side. The sea is amazingly blue today. Right, so this is the place I have to go down on the beach. And I hope the tide is out sufficiently to get right through to West Bay, because the coast path up over the top is actually closed. This is what I did last year and it was fine. And I see people along there, so it must be okay. But it does pay not to get too close to these cliffs, because they do tend to crumble. There's been a few cliff falls along here. Actually, this might be quite pleasant, because I've got to be walking along by the sea so far all morning and haven't actually got up close and personal with it, so this might be nice. spectacular, breathtaking. I don't think I'm going to linger too much though, because just in case the tide's coming in, it's fairly close to the cliffs in places. I'll have to say, this is a beautiful beach. It's lovely, clean, dark coloured, I want to say sand, but it's probably more grit than sand, I think. It's very picturesque with the blue of the sea and the white of the surf coming in. And it's fairly okay to walk on, I have to say. It's much better than the shingle that I would have been on earlier had I gone down onto Chesil Beach. Of course, the added benefit is I avoid one or two climbs which I would have had to do, although they are only smaller ones. So there's always a silver lining. The other thing, of course, being a photographer and an artist as well, in some degree, is I love the colour of the cliffs. Lovely warm tones in the cliff which contrast with the blues of the sea and sky. A great combination. So this would be one of the difficult parts if the tides weren't right, because you can see how far the tide comes up, and this is a major cliff fall that came down a few years ago, I think, or a couple of years ago, and you'd be struggling a little bit at this point to get through if it was high tide, and you really wouldn't want to get too near to the cliffs. You can see how that overhangs up there. It's not a cliff you'd want to get too near at any time of the year, really, but especially in the wetter season, of course. But we're okay. We'll get through because we're nearly at West Bay now. That's the view back. Absolutely beautiful. Now I'm really not sure that I would be pitching my beach tent where those people have got that yellow and blue one there, because they are right underneath a really fragile cliff. Not the best idea, I would say. Especially when you got acres of beach away from the cliffs. So we reached West Bay. Quite nice to think you could walk straight along the seafront and then climb up the hill the other side, but unfortunately you can't because of the harbour inlet. So I've got to go inland to detour around it. It's not my favourite place, West Bay. I can see why people like it. There's a lot of touristy stuff here to do. But for me, it's a place I just have to get through really and go out the other side. The only time it's useful is that there are kiosks here that do some good food, but it's a bit early. I'm not going to stop for lunch here. It's just my usual stopping place. Picture of me down there. Wow. So I've escaped from West Bay, but on the way through this jumped into my hand. I can't believe where it came from. Not healthy, but a man's got to eat something to give him energy to get up the hills. It's not actually lunchtime either, but never mind, this will last me. Well, I'm not so sure that was the healthiest lunch, but as my gran would have said, it filled a hole. Hopefully it'll give me enough energy to get up all of these hills that face me. A very colourful border. Very nice. So the first big climb is in front of me. That's Thorncombe Beacon. I am currently at Eype. So this is one of my options for camping tonight. It's the site here. But I decided that 8 miles into the day that would be too soon. So my original plan was to go up over Thorncombe and down the other side and then camp. That's about 11-mile day, which kind of would be good. 8 miles is a bit too short. But it is a lovely bit of coast with some good walking paths and some great views. You can see for miles around the bay. So if you're a Broadchurch fan, the TV series called Broadchurch, you'll recognise Eype because it featured heavily, and the shack down there, that featured, I think it's holiday accommodation, not sure. But we're climbing back out again. So we are part way up Thorncombe Beacon. The emphasis being on part. Oh, so we're kind of maybe over halfway now up Thorncombe Beacon. Already got amazing views. And there used to be a tea rooms over in the woods. I was kind of thinking I could maybe detour and get a cup of tea, but I believe it's closed. I don't think it's been open for some time, which is a shame. So the top of Thorncombe Beacon is over there. That's where I'm heading for. There's two ways up. The short, sharp route, which goes steeply up the hill, or this one, which I've chosen to do today, which kind of curves round the valley and climbs gently to the top. So with a load up, I thought maybe this was a better option today. Actually, it's a nice path, look at that. There's wonderful buttercups. Awesome. So I've made it to the top of Thorncombe Beacon. First major climb of the day. This is my view. So that's all the coastline I've walked probably today. Oh, not quite, because you can see Portland in the distance. So I haven't walked that bit. Oh, you can see down here, look, and a point down here. There's a big rock fall there as well, spread out over half the beach. Oh, and another one further on. That awesome view that is. I mean, it's worth the climb. As is the view this way, of course. Yeah, magic. Right, having climbed all the way up, now you've got to climb all the way down again to sea level. Climb all the way back up again. My rucksack still seems to be creaking. Anybody got any WD-40? Another nice buttercup laden path, look. So this should be my stopping point, because down here is Seatown, and that's the caravan park, which had a camping field, which is where I was going to pitch tonight. I can't even see a camping field at the moment, so they've obviously rearranged it, I guess, hence why it's closed. But there's not a lot going on down there, so maybe it's just the camping that's been suspended or something for a few months. Anyway, no matter. It's a lovely path to go down, this is. Walking down here with these amazing views. It's just brilliant. This lovely blossom. This is Seatown down here, so the pub there was going to be my stopping point for my meal tonight. In a perfect spot, isn't it? Right next to the beach. Sit there, a picnic table in their beer garden, looking out across the beach at sunset. It is a spectacular place to spend an evening. Had I been camping here, that is. So I'm through Seatown. I'm starting on the climb up to Golden Cap. You can see why it got its name Golden Cap, because the ground is, I think it's red sandstone, is it? Or kind of golden coloured sandstone. So when it's not covered with vegetation, it looks golden in colour. Part way up Golden Cap. That's the view back. This is the view forwards. Seems like there's a giant spider here. Is that an actual tree that's died and been cut down, or is that a sculpture? Not sure. It's kind of cool though. Look good in my garden. The views are getting better the higher we go. I just had to stop and film that view. Not that I'm tired or anything, but I needed to stop. Right, made it to the top. A golden cap. Whew, hard work that was. Sadly, there is no seat at the top. I thought there used to be. Well, grass it is. So that was Golden Cap, or this is Golden Cap, because we're still actually on Golden Cap, of course. Got to walk across the top and then we'll get some amazing views westward. This is the awesome view westward. So I've got an up and down 4 miles to go before I reach Charmouth, which is the first town you see. Second town round over there is Lyme Regis, which I'm not going to, I don't think. If I do, it'll be tomorrow. I haven't yet finally decided on my route tomorrow. Amazing view, isn't it? And of course you get views inland as well. Just awesome. Such a great place to be, and on such a fantastic day as this as well. And it's May. Just awesome. Well, that says Charmouth 2 3/4. So that presumably is to the outskirts of Charmouth, but means I haven't got huge amounts more than that to do then. And I think I need to just sit down again because I forgot to switch my feet round just now. Right, that's better. Freshened my feet up. Now last time we did this walk, we went down this track to St Gabriel's, a kind of deserted village, or virtually deserted. There's one house down there still there. I think there's 1 or 2 other cottages. Anyway, I'm not going there today. I'm going to go straight down and follow the normal coast path. Interesting rockfall here. Well, obviously it was a slide at some point, but there's a lot of trees growing there. Makes me wonder if the trees actually slid with the ground and stayed upright or something, because they look relatively mature trees. Love the light on the water down there. Nice rocky shoreline. I've actually walked that shoreline before. Came here once and I decided to drop down to St Gabriel's Mouth, and instead of climbing over Golden Cap, I went round it along the beach. Kind of took a chance really, but I made it alright. Different view, which was nice. Nice little glen. Nice bit of light coming through there as well. Oh, an awesome meadow. Oh, fantastic. That's absolutely beautiful, that is. And I've got a path going through the middle of it. Another lovely meadow, look. Amazing, that is. So this path from Seatown to Charmouth can be kind of deceiving really. You can think that once you've got over Golden Cap that your climbing is kind of done for the day, but it's very deceiving because this is a very up and down 3 miles or whatever, and it culminates up over there, which is Stonebarrow. That'll be my last climb of the day, but so that's where I'm heading for. But yes, deceiving, because you can think, oh, nearly there now, and then you can, oh no, there's another load of downs and ups to do. I mean, I know it well, having walked it so much, so it's no surprise to me. But it is a really good path to walk despite that, with all these lovely meadows, and there are always meadows somewhere along here, flower meadows, and all the amazing views you get. The footpaths are generally pretty good, like this, grassy paths, so it's a good place to walk. I tell you what, it's heated up now. It's getting on well into the afternoon now, so it could be that, or it could be just the fact that I'm in a sheltered place down here, because it is burning hot at the moment. So I'll be glad to get on Stonebarrow and get some breeze. And here's another one. You don't quite drop down to sea level, which is good. I think this might be the last one before we start the climb up. And Golden Cap still doesn't seem very far away, does it? It's a long time ago I was up on top of there. Now that would be a nice place to live over there. House over there. A lovely spot. So from that house, this is the view they would have. Pretty amazing, I'd say. I'd quite like to live there. Oh, making the most of a little bit of shade for a moment. Try and cool down a bit. Not for long though. It's a bit of a stinker, that is, that path up to the top here. Lots of steps, which in theory makes it easier, but it's quite steep. It's kind of stinging the tail of this day, if you like, because having climbed over the highest points and walked a long day, you have that final climb to make up to the top of Stonebarrow, which is where I virtually am. Just got to go up a bit of a slope here, and that's the end of my last climb for today. And here we are at the top. There's views down to Charmouth down here where I'm going. Lime Regis further round. Right, it's just a downward walk now to my campsite for the night. I think my legs are probably glad, to be truthful. Look at that glorious light on the water over there. That is amazingly beautiful. You can see the cob jutting out to sea. So that is Charmouth, and I don't know where my campsite is. I can see a load of caravans there. Can't see any tents. I have to find out when I'm down there. It's not actually at the caravan park anyway, but it's apparently somewhere near it. Cool gate. I like it. Oh. this is Charmouth. Well, more pitched. Not the best campsite. I mean, it's more caravans, to be honest, than tents. But it'll be fine for one night. Now for a shower. Well, everything's done. I've showered, the tent's up. My clothes are airing on the airer, also known as the grass. I got myself a hot chocolate. So I think I'm set up now for the night. The only thing is I don't have food. So I'm going to have to go out in a minute and walk into town and see where I can find to get something to eat. I do know there's a fish and chip shop here, so I could do that. I think there's a pub somewhere in here. Well, there's bound to be a pub. So I could go to the pub and have a meal. So yeah, I don't know yet. I'm going to enjoy my hot chocolate, rest my weary limbs, and then decide what to do about food. And as last night, I don't expect I'm going to be late to bed tonight, because it's been another tough day, really. Although having said that, I have thoroughly enjoyed it. It's been an awesome day. Amazing views all the way along, great headlands. Yeah, it's meant a lot climbing, but I've managed it without any problem today. In fact, I actually feel better tonight than I did last night. I was actually quite tired last night. I'm sure I must have picked up a bug or something, because it's unusual for me to be like that at the end of a day's walking. Anyway, I'm going to sign the video off at this point, and I will see you all again in the morning. Thanks for coming with me, but for now, this is me, the Dorset Rambler, saying good night.